leading journalist was attached to a confidential military chat by members of the Trump administration.
Suspicious devices were removed from a Tesla showroom in Austin.
And negotiations are underway to have the IRS cooperate with ICE to enforce immigration laws.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm Annie Tomlin.
And I'm Landry Brady. Today we remember a legend who had a huge impact on this university, Bill Mercer. He died Saturday at age 99. He will be forever remembered as a great broadcaster in sports and news, but also as a beloved teacher who had an incredible life. Best known as the original voice of the Mean Green, Mercer's career spanned over 6 decades. Early in his career, he covered President Kennedy's assassination in Dallas. It was there that he informed Lee Harvey Oswald that he would be charged with the murdering of the president. Mercer went on to call games for the Texas Rangers, Dallas Cowboys, and UNT Athletics, his influence reaching far and wide. But his greatest impact was here at this university, where he spent decades mentoring generations of future broadcasters.
Bill was a lot of things to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, I think that the biggest legacy he left probably is that the number of really good students that still to this day will tell you they wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for Bill.
Mercer's voice defined North Texas athletics for over 30 years, and his legacy lives in the students he inspired and the stories he told. The Texas Rangers even held a moment of silence in Mercer's memory before last night's exhibition game in Arlington.
Thank you, Landry. An article released by The Atlantic yesterday revealed that the editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, had been added to an unsecured group chat discussing U.S. military plans in Yemen by members of the Trump administration. Goldberg received a series of messages hours before airstrikes happened on March 15th on a work communication forum called Signal. He had been invited to the chat by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and the thread shows multiple senior officials such as Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth discussing plans of an attack in Yemen targeting the Houthi. If this information has gotten into the wrong hands, some say national security could have been compromised, but one National Security Council spokesperson says that the Houthi operation is still having success. As for how it happened, one senior official said it was inadvertent. According to the CNN, Trump administration has so far acknowledged that the messages seem to be authentic.
You know what, Annie? I honestly love the warmer weather we've been having lately.
Me too, but I hope it doesn't get ruined by any chance of rain. Our weather anchor Cornelius Williams-Peoples is here to tell us what to expect in the next few weeks.
Hey everybody. So starting off with the current conditions, right now it is currently sunny, with that being 80 degrees when it feels like 81 with an 8 miles per hour wind speed. As we move on to tonight's forecast though, that sunny or that clear skies turn to mostly cloudy by that nightfall, with it being 81 degrees, it feels like 81, and with a 7 miles per hour wind speed. Then as we move on to tomorrow's forecast though, that mostly cloudy becomes cloudy in general, with like around 78% coverage on that part. With the weather being 70 degrees, feels like 70, and a 13 miles per hour wind speed. Now, I'll give you the full weather shortly, but for now, let's take it back to the desk.
Friendly competition is taking place with 2 local police stations, and it's a real moment that has gone viral in a very big way. Here's how it all happened.
Fort Worth PD caught the internet's attention after making a promotional diss track to clap back at another local police department.
You know, we got a lot of flack from Dallas putting up a billboard literally 2 exits away from our academy. So it was like, okay, we have to do something.
The video went viral on social media where it amassed over 800,000 views. But it was Officer Perez who came up with the idea to respond to Dallas and to bring in more recruits.
I can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, because Dallas starts with the letter D. And I was like, I can use that reference. I know we have several officers that used to work for Dallas that work for us. That would be a good diss. So then I told one of my supervisors, I said, hey, I'm gonna create a recruitment video that's a diss track towards Dallas.
Trainees in the program were excited by a new project and got the chance to step outside of the police work to give content creation a try.
The idea was brought up to them, by our media team, and they quickly jumped on it. And just working with those guys, it was fun. It was fun. They are really very enthusiastic, wanting to do it, jumped at the opportunity. I think they just wanted to be on camera, but it was fun.
The video connected with a particular group, and Fort Worth PD looks forward to a Dallas response.
But the thing is who is our target audience? It is the younger generation. It is the ones that are familiar with these up-and-coming artists and stuff that we are out of touch with. And they are the ones that we got the most engagement with.
The experience was great. The opportunity to do it was a blessing within itself. And to Dallas PD, show us what you got.
After the break, more on a mother who was attacked by her own family.
And a major road was clogged for hours on end outside of Houston, but it wasn't because of an accident or construction. We'll tell you what happened when we come back.
Hey you! Yeah, you. Tax day is right around the corner, and the IRS has free resources to help you. Just visit their website or contact our volunteer income tax program at 800-906-9887. You don't want the IRS knocking at your door. Whew, I guess it's too late for you. Pay now or pay later with interest. File your taxes.
Attacks in Tesla vehicles are increasing. A bomb squad in Austin recently had to remove a few suspicious packages identified as being possible explosives that have been left throughout a Tesla showroom. This comes after multiple nationwide protests against Tesla and its CEO Elon Musk. The FBI has recently created a task force intended to crack down on violent Tesla attacks after the incident. The FBI is now urging the public to be on the lookout for any signs of attempted vandalisms or attack against Tesla vehicles or corporate facilities.
3 teen girls in Houston are accused of attempting to kill their mother after she turned off their home's Wi-Fi. Investigators say the sisters grabbed kitchen knives and chased their mom out onto the street. Authorities also say one of the sisters hit their mom over the head with a brick, while their grandmother was knocked down in an attempt to defuse the situation. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The 14, 15, and 16-year-old girls were all charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and were booked into juvenile detention.
Over 30 cattle that had been at the rodeo broke loose and ran about in Houston on Monday. Both bystanders and law enforcement quickly worked up to round the cattle. CNN's Bryce Newberry has the story.
In standstill traffic with his arms wide, this driver jumped out of his SUV and tried to stop 2 roping steers running down the main lanes of I-45 northbound. They got loose around 11:30 Monday morning on their way back to Fannin County from the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, jumping barriers and shutting down the North Freeway. as law enforcement ran after them.
We live in Texas, so, it's nothing new.
Elise Moore works at a nearby business.
And I was like, give me a horse, I'll help out.
And watched as 2 of the loose steer ran onto their property.
They were just kind of running around in the parking lot, ate some grass back there.
A latch came loose on the trailer door carrying 31 steers, the Harris County Sheriff's Office says. The driver kept control of 25 of them, but the rest had to be corralled by law enforcement.
These particular cows are made for roping. They're meant to come out of a chute and take off running.
Deputies tried to keep up, wanting to keep an eye on them at all times. Some ended up in a wooded area. A DPS chopper kept watch overhead, and crews on the ground worked to find them. Cell phone video captured a deputy guiding 1 steer through a median and back to a trailer. Law enforcement suggests letting them do the hard work.
You start honking your horn, you start chasing them, waving your hands. All you do is put pressure on them and they want to run.
4 hours after breaking loose, we captured all of the steers being loaded back onto the trailer they came in.
We're just kind of enjoying the show, fortunately, but, hope all the cows are okay.
Ready to go home after a disruptive detour. As we watched this develop, there were some initial reports that there could have been a car crash or injuries caused by these steers, but the Harris County Sheriff's Office now says that didn't actually happen, adding that this is nothing unusual for them, just a pretty large number to deal with all at once. In North Harris County, I'm Bryce Newberry, KPRC 2 News.
I am so excited for the sun to be out this week, so maybe I can get a little tan.
I have some bad news for you, Landry. We might be getting the complete opposite.
Oh, well, thank you for letting me know, because I was definitely planning on tanning. Luckily, our weather anchor Cornelius Williams-Peoples is back to tell us what to expect the rest of the week.
Unless being soaked in rain is a new way of tanning, then be my guest. But let's avoid that if possible. For now, let's start off with the current conditions across North Texas. For now, as you can see here, it is going to be 80 degrees mostly around the vicinity here, with some areas that being 78, 79, like for example, Paris, Texas, or Sulphur Springs, and even Decatur. Now, as we move on across to the next part here, across the state, again, roughly, it is still going to be in the mid-80s to low 80s, with even some exceptions like Amarillo, Oklahoma City, or El Paso, for example, being in the 70s range, and even around Shreveport, along with the 80s as well. Now, let's move on to the 7-day forecast. With the 7-day forecast, starting that Wednesday, it is going to be cloudy. You may expect a little bit of rain, but it may not happen since it's in some isolated areas, that being around 24%, with 78 degrees being high and 59 low. And then again, when we move on to Thursday, it will remain cloudy with 80 degrees of high and 58 low with 24% chance. That Friday, though, it is going to be in the AM showers, that being a solid 70 degrees and low 59 with 44% chance. As we go on through Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it is going to be mostly to partly cloudy, starting with Saturday being 87 to low 64, Sunday being high 84 to low 45, and Monday being a 67 to 47, and that Tuesday being partly cloudy, being 74 to 55 with 24% chance of rain. Now, as I mentioned before, starting this evening, there will be a chance of thunderstorms throughout the week, with a high chance of it occurring on Thursday and Friday. Minor flooding can happen in certain areas of Denton, along with gusty wind and hail if stronger storms occur. Make sure to keep up to date with the weather as the week goes on. That's all I have for you. Now let's go back to the desk.
Thanks, Cornelius. Earth isn't the only place that has gotten some crazy weather going on right now. NASA's Webb telescope captured an interesting image earlier this week that they have now identified. This image is of a random alignment of Herbig Haro 4950, which is nicknamed the cosmic tornado. This is formed by jets launched from a nearby forming star and can extend light years and can create shock waves. The materials of this cosmic tornado heats up to high temperatures and then cools, which gives it a bright color.
When we come back from the break, more on how a government collaboration could put your information at risk.
And how a celebrity from the 90s ended up getting arrested. Stay with us.
I wonder what's on the radio today. I don't know about this. This is not it.
Everything alternative, commercial free. 88.1 Indy.
Here at KNTU, we have two traditional stations, 88.1 Indy and KNTU Jazz. We've also recently launched an internet radio station called Mean Green Hits. If you want to hear more, you can check us out at MediaNorthTexas.com.
That was pretty good.
I use Flex to buy my favorite snacks.
I use Flex to get me through my mornings.
I use Flex at my favorite campus restaurants. I love how Flex is a cashless payment method and can be used at all campus dining venues.
So, how do you use Flex?
Tax Day is coming up on April 15th, but that isn't the only reason the IRS is making headlines today. It is reportedly negotiating a way to coordinate with the Department of Homeland Security to assist with immigration enforcement from ICE. The IRS is encouraging people in the U.S. allegedly to pay for their income taxes, as millions of American citizens do so each year. The IRS typically guards tax filers' information from disclosure, but working with immigration officials could potentially pose a threat to these protections. This is because ICE would require the IRS to cross-reference data submitted to the organization, including a suspended legal immigrant's name or personal address. Privacy experts claim this is a violation of the strict disclosure laws that the IRS maintains to this day.
Texas Republicans in the Senate had filed a bill that aims to make abortion laws in Texas more clear. Senator Brian Hughes filed Senate Bill 31 to include specific exceptions for an abortion. Included is an exemption that abortion is only illegal in Texas when the life of a mother or a major bodily function is at risk. Additionally, the bill clarifies that doctors would not have to delay or withhold an abortion if doing so would increase the risk of death or impair it to the pregnant woman.
Texas lawmakers are planning to tackle the state's water crisis by investing billions of dollars to fix the problem. Legislators agreed unanimously that the issues needed to be solved, but are disagreeing on how to spend the money. Senator Perry and Representative Harris filed bills this month that mention repairing and upgrading the aging infrastructure. This includes structures like water pipes, and legislators are also looking to create new water sources for the future.
A popular 90s music star has found himself in hot water this week after he was arrested in Florida yesterday.
Our segment anchor Aaron Erie is in studio to tell us more about this star that is under fire.
Thanks, you two. I have some bad news for R&B fans, as return of the Mac singer Mike Morrison has been arrested in Palm Beach, Florida for assault and battery. Police say the 52-year-old got into a physical altercation with a bar manager over an unpaid entertainment fee. Morrison pushed the restaurant manager twice, and 2 witnesses had to step in to separate the 2 men, according to the arrest affidavit. Police were called to the scene where Morrison was then arrested. Morrison's attorney said he is confident that the facts surrounding the case will vindicate him of any wrongdoing. He was taken to the Palm Beach County Jail and later released on bond. That's all the information I have for you now. Back to you both at the desk.
Thanks, Aaron. UNT has over 400 student organizations. Ranging from the arts to academics, there's something for almost every student, no matter what they're interested in. ntTV's London Stewart took a trip to one of those organizations to see what it means to its members. Take a look.
Student organizations play a pivotal role in universities all over. Countless UNT and TWU students gather weekly with one another to share their faith.
The first time coming to Focus, I came with a group of friends, and what I really liked about it is that there were so many different people there, and the way I felt like I could be myself, but I also got to feel like I could explore new versions of myself.
Getting to see a bunch of university students and kids that are kind of growing and developing in their young adulthood, but doing it in such a way that's aligned with one another.
To check out all of the student organizations UNT has to offer, you can visit the UNT OrgSync website.
Annie, have you been keeping up with basketball season?
I wish I could say yes, but I've been preoccupied with the end of hockey season nearing and the upcoming baseball season.
Well, good thing our sports anchor, Christian Bursich, is here to update us on the recent basketball comebacks and more. Christian?
Thanks, guys. Dallas Mavericks fans can rejoice as Anthony Davis has finally returned after a month of absence. I've got more basketball news as well as a look into the offseason for Mean Green football after the break.
All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3. Mom, Dad, I got it.
You're right, Mom. I have.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
Looking to open a free checking or savings account but don't know where to start? Check out DATQ Credit Union right here on campus. Get your Mean Green debit card instantly or apply for a DATQ Visa credit card today. Your school, your card. Plus, make deposits at their 24/7 ATM, checks or cash whenever you need it. Make sure to sign up for DATQ's online banking platform and mobile app for easy access anytime, anywhere. Visit them at www.datq.org to learn more. DATQ, the official financial institution of UNT Athletics.
Anthony Davis has finally returned to the Mavericks after a long injury on what seemed like a minor injury. In his first game with the Dallas Mavericks, Anthony Davis suffered an adductor strain that kept him out for over a month. The Mavs have since been ravaged with injuries, with Kyrie Irving going down with an ACL tear earlier this month. Currently sitting at 11th in the West and fighting for a spot in the play-in, the Mavs will need Anthony Davis to play at full strength if they hope to appear in the postseason. Mean Green basketball will take on Oklahoma State in the quarterfinal of the NIT tonight at 8 p.m. Despite being the higher seed in the tournament, the Mean Green will travel to Stillwater for the game due to scheduling issues, preventing the game from being played in the Super Pit. The Mean Green will look to move to the semifinal in the NIT, and Athletic Director Jared Mosley assured fans that steps will be taken to prevent conflicts like this from happening in the future. After a 5-1 start in 2024, the Mean Green struggled in the second half of the season, finishing with a 6-7 record on the football field after a loss to Texas State in the First Responder Bowl. Although many UNT football players didn't end their college careers quite the way they wanted, they aren't letting this be the end of their football careers, showing their capabilities for Pro League scouts during UNT Pro Day. ntTV reporter Jordan Lindsay got a first-hand look into the annual UNT event.
North Texas football held a pro day on Friday that featured 11 players and 3 All-Americans. One of the highlights of this pro day was linebacker Jalen Smith, who started off in the program as a walk-on from Canada. This past season, he recently earned third-team All-Conference and is projected to go early in the Canadian Football League draft.
Yeah, every time I'm driving from my training at APEC down the I-35 and the I think it's the 820, I always look back and think wow, I'm all the way from Canada and I'm driving 40 minutes every day to train for an opportunity to play at the professional level in the NFL or in the CFL. So, yeah, my journey was a wild one, but I wouldn't change a single thing.
Another player to watch during Pro Day was defensive back Ridge Tejada, who held the school's all-time record for pass breakups.
Because going in after the season, there's a lot of questions about me. Just not as productive as I wanted to be, but I feel like just going in and showing them that I'm capable of doing, that I show on film that I'm capable of doing it in front of them. That was my goal.
From ntTV News, this is Jordan Lindsay.
You can get a sneak peek of your 2025 Mean Green football team on March 29th, when the team will host a scrimmage at an open practice. That's all from me, guys. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Christian. You know what, Annie? I'm really hungry, and I'm kind of feeling like Chick-fil-A. Do you want to go with me after the show?
Sure. Actually, did you know that eating Chick-fil-A could actually help you lose weight?
No way.
In fact, one man actually lost 132 pounds going to eat there every day for months. CNN's Samantha Cheney has the story.
When I stepped on the scale and it said 346 pounds.
Tom Carroll says he was always a bigger guy.
I liked being the big guy that had a good time, that could go out and eat pizza whenever and go have a beer and not think about it.
But all that beer and pizza started to catch up with him.
I knew I was really big, and I didn't want to go to a doctor and have them tell me you're really big and be embarrassed by that.
At just 32 years old, he had been struggling with some health problems, and he knew he had to do something. He found part of his answer here. That's right, Chick-fil-A.
We stumbled into this awesome salad at Chick-fil-A, and I thought to myself, if I can just have this salad every single day, I'll be okay with eating salad all the time.
A few weeks later, in the midst of some health problems, Tom stepped on a scale.
I just lost 60 pounds.
The only two changes, giving up alcohol and eating that salad every day.
Yeah, and we get very excited every time he comes and see us.
You can just, by starting with one meal, focusing on making one meal healthier than it used to be on a consistent basis, can have a dramatic effect on your health.
After months of salad and no booze, his blood pressure was down to a healthy level, his blood sugar improved, and he felt better.
After about 6 months of keeping that weight off, that's when I decided to sit down and write the essay.
After posting that essay about his experience online, he's connected with others who have had similar stories of weight and health issues.
Being able to help other guys like me has been the most rewarding thing that I've ever done.
Thank you for watching ntTV News at noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 and tomorrow at noon here on North Texas Television.